Hey everyone, welcome back to another video here at the Subi Sanctuary. I know it has been quite a while since you have seen an update on the Aerosim WRC coupe that we had been doing. However, in this video we do make significant gains on the car. We will take you guys along for the ride, explain what is going on. Currently, what you're watching is a bit of a recap from the previous video. If you are new here, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, go and check out the playlist on this build, and you'll be able to watch it from day one all the way up until its current state now. Currently on this car, however, we are now taking a brief hiatus on this, and we will resume on it likely in the spring. In the previous video, we had got this car completely into the epoxy primer and all the body work is done. Since then, and because nobody wants to watch 100 hours of sanding, we have block sanded the entire body of the car. It is 100% now ready for paint, except we are missing one thing. One very significant thing before completing this car, and that is a drivetrain and interior, along with a couple other small things, and that is what we are going to take care of now in this video. Now here you can see us unwrapping the motor that came with the car. I will get into some further details on the motor a little later in the video. This motor has been completely rebuilt. It has never ran since it was finished. Hopefully we can change that soon once we get it into the car and get the rest of it together. So here we are now preparing our engine bay before actually putting the engine in. So we are getting the clutch master in there. Then we got to get the brake booster in. We're using the STI brake master, and here we have a Proline ABS delete kit. I highly recommend you do not buy this kit. It was absolutely horrible to work with. Came with no instructions. I had to make my own. And it is a very improvised ABS delete kit. During this install, we are also taking this opportunity to add in a hydraulic handbrake for the rear brakes. This will be integrated into our super awesome ABS delete kit. The carbon handle is second-hand from Bakemono. We got the cylinder from VSC, and then here you can see me working on a plate to mount the handbrake in the car. I am going off of the shifter trim, which I know that's only held down with screws. So instead we run nuts and bolts through them, weld a plate off it, make another little kickstand off it, and it actually did work out super awesome, super sturdy. Then here we have some braided flex lines from Safe Brake. These actually are amazing. I actually ordered a set for my own car. Look at the swivel on the mount so you don't end up with some weird twisted flex line when you go to install them. I thought that was a really neat feature. Really high quality lines. I definitely would buy these again. And now off camera, I did get my super horrible ABS delete kit completely installed and the integrated hydro brake as well. Now I'm running around the car removing all of the factory rubber flex lines and installing the Safe Brake flex lines. After that, we can go through and bleed the brake system. Now going back a bit on the Proline ABS delete kit that I was very unhappy with, I did email the company for a explanation as to how these actually install in this car because they were bought specifically for this car. They said they are all color coded, however they 100% are not color coded. And what is the color code supposed to help when there is no instructions, nor did they give me a diagram of what the color codes are supposed to be? All the lines I got were just completely black. Looking back, we did make it work. In the future, I would definitely just make my own kit. It would be easier and likely turn out better. Here we are now actually getting the hydraulic brake cylinder in place, and now you can see we're getting a bit of feedback on the pressure there. And now we are jumping right into swapping out this super skinny original rear sway bar. We're going to replace it with the GD STI rear sway bar. Look at that compared to that. Pretty wild. Then we're going to go ahead and put some new Super Pro bushings on the bar, as well as some new sway bar links at the same time. Then moving on from the rear sway bar, we are going to go and now rectify something that was maybe overlooked at the previous body shop. They did not facilitate for these diff transom brackets here, and you actually kind of need the diff transom brackets because it's what holds the bushing on the other side of the diff T-brace. So what I'm doing is first putting them in place. There's nowhere to actually bolt the other side in. So you can see here I am drilling into the rocker. Then we're going to take the plate back off and we are going to reverse weld some nuts into those holes. So we're drilling pretty big holes so that the 12 mil nut can go in there backwards, and then we can weld it onto the metal, and then we are able to actually install our diff T-brace side plates there. Now with the holes made there, I've got some bare metal and I am ready to weld. So we'll do a quick little rip around the flange of the nut, and then after that we're going to go ahead clean it. We are going to put some etch primer over top and probably a little bit of Tremclad, which is a great oil base for underbody stuff that you don't want to rust, because now we have just gone and welded something to this otherwise body-worked underbody of this car. Now we are getting the hardware in, we're ready to crank it down, and that takes care of the diff T-brace brackets. From here, moving to the front of the car, another thing that caught my attention, this car had no front sway bar at all. We have added in a GD STI front sway bar with poly bushings and OEM sway bar links. Alright guys, I think we are now at the point that we're going to actually drop this engine into the bay and start to build off of the engine from there. As you can see, there's still quite a bit missing on our engine, but we do have a parallel AN fuel line set up, and I would rather fit that in the car just so we get everything able to line up nice and the orientation and lengths to be adequate while it's in the engine bay. So this engine we did not build here, it was done elsewhere. It appears to be an older 207. And I know that they did go through the whole engine and do everything. And this is how we receive the engine. We do have the rest of the stuff to put it together. So for step one, we're just going to get it in the engine bay. And from there, now we have a super fancy Exetti, I believe it is a 6-puck clutch kit. So I'm going and putting the flywheel on that comes with this kit. After that, we can get our fancy little disc on there, and then our fancy little pressure plate. Get these guys all torqued down, and then we are near ready to actually shove this motor in the car, which is a pretty big milestone because we are currently at this point in the video somewhere around 400 hours into this build so far. And here you can see me on camera twerking all the bolts down, going off the manual spec, just kind of filling time here until we can get to the next point where I can narrate it. Then boom, just like that, we are now ready to put the motor in the car. Finally, this is great. One less motor sitting on the floor of the shop. I don't believe this far I have mentioned what the rest of the drivetrain is. The transmission is a version 8 6-speed with DCCD and the iWire Spider DCCD kit. This kit actually also can be integrated to open the diff when we pull the hydraulic handbrake. There actually is also a switch on the handbrake that we have to wire into the kit to cut it. Now in this next bit here, you can see me fiddling with this IAG AOS that is meant for a GD STI, so it comes with a bracket that doesn't necessarily work in this car. We are trying to run air conditioning in this car, so then it is getting extra tight in the bay. I do end up solving it, get it all in there, looks really neat and tidy, and now we are jumping into the radium stuff. This is for the parallel fuel rail setup in this car. So I believe that little guy there is our FPR, and that is our little fuel pressure gauge. Again, that kit is not necessarily meant to bolt up in the engine bay of this car, so there was a little bit of creativity needed to get it to sit in places that isn't going to interfere with some of the rest of our stuff that we have to put in. Then now you've seen me unbox the CSF aluminum radiator. Again, I'm just doing a quick little test fit there. Oh no, it hits our header, so we got to pull it back out, and we've got to cut that little tab off so we can get some clearance in there. We have these slim fans. These are pretty straightforward. You just kind of place them on the rad, make sure you've got the clearance, and then you just run basically a very skinny little zip tie to attach them to the core. Now, some of you longtime viewers might recognize that Zero Sports cold air intake. That was actually from the 22B that we had restored. That was one of the parts removed from the car, and it has made its way into this car. Now we have removed the old, very dirty, gross looking flocked dash that had started to repel its flocking. We're just going to go ahead and put a nice fresh OEM dash in there, and that should solve that. At the same time, we are removing the passenger side airbag, and we are putting in a super rare left-hand drive dash cubby. Alright guys, we're actually going to wrap up the video right there. I hope you enjoyed it this far. Off camera, since then, we have progressed a little further with the car, but you won't see any material on the Aerosim WRC car for quite a while now. We put the car into storage. We're going to bring it back out in the spring and resume from there. In the meantime, don't forget to check out our other videos. We are very deep into the ABW's ProDrive P25 body kit installation. We got a bunch of vids coming out or already out, depending on when I post this one, on this car. Make sure you guys go and check those out. Until then, happy Subaruing.